I'm sure we all have known someone who's done the most, who's given their life up, who's made that ultimate sacrifice. And at the end of the day, straight up, it's all for nothing. You know, if this is the first time you actually stop by a stories written by a current prisoner, and if you like listening to prison stories, prison testimonies, directly from inside California's most notorious prisons from actual inmates, then hit that subscribe button. But if you've ever been on the block a few times, then you already know what to do. Hit that like button for your boy right here. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I thank each and every single one of you for taking time out of your day and watching the show. Stories written by a current prisoner is back with a bang. Please hit that like button. Help us get back into that algorithm. You know what I'm saying? So here we go.
All right, man. Can you tell me, is there a certain situation that sticks out in your mind that just doesn't sit well with you? You know, a situation that bothers you throughout the years, and like, man, you know what, for real, like, that wasn't cool. That was totally uncalled for. That wasn't fair. This person, you know, was the utmost righteous individual. You know, he did more than he put in his bid. He did his thing, and they totally disregarded him, man. Is there anything like that sticks out in your mind?
Absolutely. During my time in Soledad, I was in the oil. I had the whole oil back there in Aztec Overflow, and I was reporting back to A-Yard. Well, I also had overseen South Facility as well. At that time, one of my sponsors was on South Facility, the homie Capsper, and he's a bro. Well, that whole fucking yard was a free-for-all, so it's a level 1, secure level 1. Him and 5 other homies were always getting high together and shit. And you know, as being on a thing or being a bro or and soul striving, you can't use drugs. You're not supposed to use hard drugs. But that being said, they were all doing that shit. And because the homie was still pushing that line, making sure all aspects of being a righteous soldado was still being upheld on that yard, all 5 of these individuals secretly filed a bunch of IRs and sent them to the oil on the next bus something, trying to get the homie blasted. Well, little as they know, I had the overall authority right there in the oil. I got all these IRs, and coincidentally, the homie shows up. The bro Capsper shows up like 3 days later, and I went against the grain because my loyalty was to the homie. He was a righteous individual. He never steered me wrong, and I just had a lot of love for him because the way he treated other homies around him, the canalismo, the respect he had for other homies, regardless of his status, he didn't think he was better. So I went against the grain and gave him the IRs. Well, by doing that, I violated my whole NRDs. And I ended up, let me back up real quick. I ended up violating my whole NRDs as far as that by jeopardizing the safety and security of other soldados within the stronghold and on the foothold out there on the line. Well, little by little, the army had all these individuals removed before anything went further. But because he had them removed, he had to explain why it was being done. That being said, me having loyalty to the homie, the love I had for him, I basically told him, it is what it is, bro. I'll take whatever punishment I got coming. Go ahead and do your thing. So, out of those 5, all 4 got removed immediately. Well, with my bad luck, 3 other bros ended up in the back, right there in Soledad only. And long story short, I ended up getting stripped, not of my status, but I got stripped of all of my authority and my position. I got DP'd, and I ended up owing cleanup. Well, once all these individuals bounced, at first they wanted to remove me, to be honest with you, because of me jeopardizing the safety and security of other soldados in their household. Well, because of the homies Casper's influence, is all they did was DP me, strip me of my status. I couldn't hold a position while they were back there. But once all they went to the shoe, which was individuals from like Castroville and fucking Salinas, and they already had animosity against me anyways because I'm from the Bay Area, and to them I act black, and they don't respect that type of shit. So it was just extra reason for them to fucking try to push for me to get blasted. Well, the homie Capsper stopped that. Once he stopped that, I did all my DP, did my cleanup in the oil while I was going to court, and all three of these individuals ended up leaving to the shoe. Once he left to the shoe, I got my overall authority back, and everything was smooth. Well, then homie Capsper ends up getting kicked out to fucking North Facility B yard. Him being a drug addict, bro, he couldn't stop using. Well, they tried to kill him.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And they tried to kill him for using drugs. But at the same time, I already knew my career was over because that was the only thing that was saving me was him. And to me, that whole situation is they were willing to accept the IR's incident report from these 5 individuals smutting the homie up when they were doing the same fucking thing. And once he got out there to the yard, they used that as an excuse because he was always pushing against the grain because if it wasn't right, he was going to speak up. And a lot of them individuals didn't like that shit. Well, when they removed him, number one, they had regular Northerners remove him, and that's a no-no. And number two, the motherfuckers that called that shot were all tecatos of them themselves. They're all using them damn selves. So it's like, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. You know what I'm saying? Because as far as I was concerned, that shit was a bunch of poison anyways. By the time I got my status, I got to see behind the curtain. They were removing a bunch of homies for using dope when they're fucking drug addicts themselves, putting needles in their arms and all kinds of shit. Hey, Spencer, Tony. Okay, well, the situation when Capsper went to North Facility B yard and he got removed, I already knew it was over for me because he's the one that was saving me from the beginning. And with that being said, I already knew my career was over. So when I hit High Desert, I finished my shoot program right there in Soledad. I got transferred to High Desert, C lower. And just the aggression and all the bullshit that was there, as far as their 7-on-7, their questioning, their 3Ds, all that bullshit, I already knew I was going to get hit once the yard came up because I got there when I was on lockdown. So based on that issue right there, it's pretty much what ended my career to begin with. So because of my loyalty to the homie Capsper, because what happened to him I don't feel was right because all them motherfuckers were in the wrong and they tried to kill him over that bullshit. But I ended up smashing on my celly, which was kind of fucked up because he was a good dude. But it was my safety or his. So I got off on my celly and ended up going to the hole. Well, actually, they capped my door for 3 weeks, and I stayed right there in the same cell, in a C lower 2-block cell 205, and until they finally fucking sent me to the oil. And while I was in the oil right there, I didn't want to tap out, so they ended up sending me to the 50-50 yard right there in T lower, which happened to be a rider yard, which at the point they called them Northern Riders, and the Nueva Flores were there, but everybody else there to the NF, we were considered no good. But everybody else on the yard, as far as all the group segments, as far as the sureños, the gabas, the paisas, the blacks, the others, they were all still active, which they didn't understand. They just thought that it was us going against the NF. So we were able to establish that yard and function on that yard. And that pretty much, once we lost that yard for going to war with the blacks and the fucking others back to back, we lost that yard and got shipped out to other different prisons. So we either had a choice, continuously getting put back on the main line to 180 yards, where there's nothing but active, and take the chance of getting victimized, or give up, kick up our feet, and take this SF mic on them. That's how I ended up on this side. So